radio show, and County Commissioner John Henry. I was going to say Ed Henry, but that would be wrong.
That would be wrong.
I'm having trouble with names today.
It's one of those days, it happens.
Well, I think I have John.
That's me, yes, sir.
County Commissioner.
That's it.
All that. I don't know if you heard the news about the governor announcing that she and Manny are getting married.
Just what I was listening to this morning, that's the first I've heard of it. So
yeah, I cannot believe they're not having it in New Mexico. You've been all over New Mexico.
Yes.
Is this not a destination for people
I would say
married?
it's definitely a destination state for a lot of things, but marriage especially. I mean, you see these beautiful pictures. You got white sand. You got so many amazing places that to celebrate at.
Yeah, and she's going to D.C.
You pick what you love, and we all know she loves Washington.
There you go. You pick what you love.
Yeah. So
that's funny. May 21st in Washington, D.C.
Well, good for her.
And Kamala Harris is going to preside over the ceremony. So. You mentioned a lot of neat ones. I forgot about White Sands. A lot of
White Sands. I mean, Cruces has some beautiful spots. Cloudcroft, Ruidosa. Ruidosa might not be the best place to go right now. I mean, it's better there, but still some beautiful scenery in there. And a lot of the reservations have some beautiful, beautiful spots. So
yeah, we've got the gazebo at Central Park.
Hey, and if you've noticed, glad for that plug. This is not my county hat; it's the other hat. But they're working on it, and it sure is looking a lot better over there. And they're working hard and getting that thing ready to go. So lots of good work at Central. So yeah, it'd be ready for her.
Yeah.
She might not find as welcoming as a reception in this side of the state, but we'd love to have her. If she wants to come down, we'd love to sit down and visit.
Governor Abbott would send a busload of folks from Texas.
So let's not do that, because I'd rather him send him to Santa Fe. We don't need any more help here of anything. So, but
oh my,
yeah.
Well, let's get into County Commission. You guys met yesterday.
We did meet yesterday, and it was a fairly short-ish meeting because we did our annual jail tour yesterday. So after the meeting, we go to the jail every year, walk through it, see it, make sure everything looks the way it's supposed to. And I think that's a state statute. All counties or anybody that has a jail, you have to walk through it, make sure it's all up to speed. So we did that yesterday. Very interesting tour. I think we have a warden that we're so lucky to have. I mean, that's a job that's not super popular for lots of folks don't want to be that. But man, our warden is just top notch. Has a passion for it, a love for it, and it shows. He runs an amazing facility for what he has to deal with. It's pretty remarkable what he gets done. So hopefully all the listeners don't have to visit it. The accommodations aren't 5-star necessarily. It's not a Ritz, but he does do a good job making sure everybody's taken care of while they're there. So
the county jail is it's not at the courthouse.
No.
In Carlsbad. It's
kind of back behind it.
Okay.
Around the corner type of thing.
Around the corner. So it's right there in
it's
downtown.
right in the middle of downtown Carlsbad. So yeah, it's and it's an interesting spot because the way it's built, you cannot grow. So as the county grows, I mean, that's some of the things that we're really having troubles with is when the county's really, really busy, like it is now, thank goodness, you start, right now we're fine, but at times you have a population that gets a lot. So struggles at the jail, obviously, we've always had them. We always will unless we make some kind of dramatic change. But where it's located is right downtown, so there's really no opportunity to grow. Wish I would have thought out a little bit more a long time ago to think for the future, but it didn't, and that's okay. That's where we're at, and we'll just figure it out.
So how many can it house? Or do you remember?
No, I don't remember. You'd have to ask the warden. It's quite a few.
And is it like at capacity, like when you guys were going through it?
No, right now it's not at capacity. Thank goodness. He's got he's still got a lot, but not near the capacity. Back when oil was really hitting, what was that, 2.5 years ago, we had a lot of people in there, a whole bunch. And so that population is a lot less now, but obviously something we've got to consider and look at and think about. How do we make sure that we have the space, make sure it's safe? Some people say, oh, they're criminals, who cares? Well, you got to care. I mean, they're still people. So,
well, criminals have lawyers.
Yes.
And lawyers have associates in the legislature.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of pressure from that side.
Exactly. Plus, they're not all guilty yet, right? I mean, some of them need to be tried, and so just because they're there doesn't mean you can do what you want. You've got to take, and the warden does. He makes sure everything is just as it's supposed to be, follows all the rules. So, great tour. Glad to do it. Glad to walk through there. Glad to walk through there and leave. Never want to be a guest, so that's the goal.
Does the county have a plan in place in case it gets full?
Well,
do you have cooperative agreements with other jails?
Yeah, you can already kind of do that. Like, you can send folks to different. It costs you money, obviously, and everything, But yeah, we're kind of here. We can push them to different spots, and people can do that to us and charge. And so it just depends on what's going on. And like I said, he's really thought ahead, and on some of the things that we don't necessarily want here, he's got. Okay, we're just going to send them right here. They've got an agreement. They take care of it. We pay for it. It ends up being probably a little cheaper for us to do it that way. So a very creative gentleman in making sure he gets everything accomplished and safe and on a budget that's it's expensive.
Yeah.
The jail takes a big chunk of, just like law enforcement. So you put them in with that. I mean, that's a huge chunk of county budget when you put that all together.
Well, there's a couple of projects then that whether it's this commission or future commissions that are going to have to think about, because you've talked about it before. The courthouse,
right? Yeah,
it very, very old, very well maintained, but very, very old building, and so you've got limits to what can be done with it.
Right.
You've got your government complex, office complex, basically, and then now you've got the jail. So. What are some of the ideas that are being kicked around? Again, nothing's planned, and I don't think the commission has voted to explore anything specific just yet.
Well, and on the courthouse, you're right. Not only is it old, but again, there we have a growth problem, right? As the county grows, we get new judges. When we get a new judge, right now we're having a hard time finding space. So it's growth issues more than anything. So at some point, we're going to have to start figuring out how do we properly grow both facilities. Obviously, jail can't grow, so do we have to build a new jail? What do we need to do with that? I know this is terribly unpopular to a lot of folks, but it's reality that we've got to be able to house them properly, safe, and more efficiently. I think that you can build a newer jail that's a lot more efficient, probably would save you money in the long run on labor, on movement, because right now you have to have transfer to the courthouse. So if you were to somehow merge those together at some point, you could move easier, have less folks doing that. So there's a lot of discussion, a lot of, hey, we've got to make sure we're moving in the right direction now, and not wait until so we don't want to be at the state when we start making decisions. So there has been a lot of discussion. Right now we are doing some renovations to the courthouse that will help us get through, because it would take years, even if we decide to build a new one tomorrow. I mean, that's going to take time.
And whatever you think it's going to cost today,
exactly.
Add another 30-40% to it by the time it actually gets to construction phase.
Absolutely. So there's a lot that would have to work out. So we are doing some renovations to the courthouse now to accommodate some more growth in there. Trying to do some stuff in the jail that we need to do, and keep them up to date the best we can. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of decisions we're going to have to make, and we need to start figuring that out and talking to the public so they understand where we're going once we get some sort of thought on that. So
is it going to cause taxes? Is there going to need money from the state? I mean, just what is all going to be involved in that? You don't know.
That's what's unfortunate. I think it was Senator Griggs out of Alamo had a bill that would actually have helped communities with courthouses, and of course it didn't pass. So if that had passed, all of a sudden the state's going to start helping, because I think it's a problem not just here. It's across the board. You drive around the state, there's a lot of old courthouses, which is cool. I mean, it's a wonderful thing about New Mexico. We're a very old state, not as old as Washington, D.C., and as cool, but we're an old state with some beautiful places, and those courthouses are historic. They're very important to the town, so we want to make sure they're maintained, and it's just like every Texas town you drive through, right? You've got the courthouse and a block around it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places like that in New Mexico. And so we want to make sure so that bill would have really helped make sure some of those older courthouses are fixed up and the revenues were there. So.
Yeah, but that didn't pass.
No, that
because
didn't
would
pass.
involve people being tried and maybe being convicted and then maybe being put in jail. And
Well, I was shocked because with as many lawyers that are legislatures, I figured they'd want a better place to go, but I guess not. So, but staying on the warden subject, he did have an agenda item as well yesterday. We've talked about it a lot that in the state of New Mexico, it feels like their mental health solution is just throw them in jail. But there is a grant out there now. We just missed it last time, and the warden was. I remember him and forgot about it until yesterday when he was talking about it. They had passed this bill, and then it was too late for him to react to it because he didn't know. Well, this time he's able to react to it. Hopefully, we'll get it. This is a grant that we're going to reach out for. But it's an intervene, support, and engage program, or reach, intervene, support. So it's RISE. The grant could be up to $500,000. That's to help with the mental health part of it. We can partner right now that he's got it partnered with the Carlsbad Lifehouse, which gives us an avenue to help some of the mental health folks get out, have help, hopefully get better, recover, and maybe not have to come back. So he's really active in that kind of stuff. Again, terrible place to do mental health, but at least if we can get this grant, maybe we can utilize an outside resource as well to help us with that, and help these folks recover and become productive citizens.
Yeah, or at least take care of them.
Exactly.
I just last night in town saw somebody sleeping on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not good for them. That's not good for the business that they're sleeping next to. That's just not right. And if they've got mental health issues, I think as a society we've said we need to take care of them somehow.
Right.
Well, at least some of us in society have said that. Some have said no, it's their right to be out on the street, and I don't agree with that.
No.
And I don't think the county commission thinks that either when it comes to folks that the county's having to deal with. Well, good luck on getting that grant.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, oh, well, they did drugs, they could deserve it. Man, I get that. That was a choice. I fully understand that and everything else. But I also have seen a lot of folks that have got stuck in that cycle and can't get out and want to get out. And I think we do need to make sure mainly because that's not helpful. So if you can take that stance, well, they did it to themselves. That's great. But they're not helping us. They're not helping society. They're not productive. They're a drain. So let's help them be productive. So no longer they're not taking anymore. They're actually contributing. So that's a better way to look at that kind of stuff. Of you can be as frustrated as you want, because I am too. But let's make them productive so that they quit taking our resources and actually start contributing. So hopefully that's what we'll see. I hope the state at some point. I mean, with the path of medical or not medical, they did that a long time ago. With the pass of marijuana, I think you'll see more of it.
Marijuana,
I think you'll see more of it. You've seen a lot more of it in all the other states, so we had better be prepared. And this is a good step, but the state's going to have to do something drastic to make sure we're taking care of these folks, because it's just going to increase.
Well, we see the videos from like San Francisco and Washington, D.C. and other big cities where the homeless, they've always been there.
Yeah.
Homelessness has always been an issue, especially in the bigger cities.
Right.
But it seems to really have accelerated over the last couple of years. It really has become quite an issue in a lot of these communities. And so when you see the videos, we joke about how you can get a poop map for San Francisco to avoid the human waste. Nobody wants to see that happen here in our backyard, in our communities in Eddy County. So that might be a step to help with that.
Yeah.
Can we take a news break?
Of course.
All right, we're going to take a news break. County Commissioner John Henry is with